Hey, hey, welcome back, guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get into a little bit of the signs and symbols for the day. We shall see what we've got. Okay, Eight of Wands. This is upright. I don't know, somebody feels a little bit foolish, feels like a court jester, like maybe they did something or said something like that made the other person walk away. This is normally somebody who wants to come forward and talk, but then we also have this stage, and it feels like somebody's wearing a mask, but also they seem like maybe they made a foolish decision. I don't know. They're still standing here, or the mask is still here, staring at the empty chair. And I'm wondering if they said something that made somebody get up and exit stage left. And it's like, oh, uh-oh. Queen of Wands. Did the Queen of Wands exit? She's the one here in the shadows. She's not really gone though, but well, I don't know. We do have the Death card. Something changed for sure. What was it? What was it here? Ace of Wands. I don't know if she felt unwanted. I mean, normally if she's like, oh, okay, they're not interested. Okay, not a problem. I can exit. If that's what somebody came across as, like they said something or did something that made her like, oh, all right, I'll, not a problem. Because this says something has changed. And this little tip of the hat to Edgar Allan Poe here. We have the book that says Nevermore. Um, uh, sorry, there's a couple different things for this. So just because the skeleton is making me think of that song by Bob Marley, Mr. Brown, is a clown who rides through town in a coffin. And yeah, he's found. Um, it, it's actually like if you read up about the meaning of that song, it's kind of like a folkloric, like spirit being. Um, but sorry, that's just a side note. It's really just the song is playing in my head. I really like that song. Um, but there is something here about like, I don't know if I want to say that like kind of crushed her spirit a little bit. Look, a Queen of Wands doesn't get crushed too easy, and she still is upright, but she definitely is all in these darker color tones now. This could be somebody, a very attractive feminine, possibly could be um, wearing darker colors, deep, heavy blue, almost like black or even velvet, or I'm thinking almost like the darkest dark purple, gray. This could also, somebody could have like quite a nice smoky eye or something going on, because this her clothing and the fade out here almost reminds me of more like a smoky eye, um, in like eyeliner and such. But she seems to be retreating, but with her head up, it's like, okay, I can accept that somebody's not interested in me. Somebody's not wanting to talk to me. They told me as much. Either they trolled me through their silence, or they maybe told me I was a bit of a joke to them, but that's all right. I mean, I don't really see myself as a joke so much, but um, definitely I totally understand, and I can, accept they're not interested. So but it could have still been a bit of a crush, because it's like, not only did they tell me they're not interested, but there's also like a finality here. It's like, oh, they would never be interested. Okay, I can let that go. And it just feels as if she still is like, well, when someone else doesn't love you, it's a good time to just love yourself. So I'll just go ahead and buy myself some flowers, I guess. I don't know. Um, Buy me a rose, or focus on maybe a little bit of self-love, although I don't really think it's that, because this isn't the Ace of Cups. This is the Ace of Wands. She may look, a Queen of Wands tends to have a good sense of self. She tends to have like a resilience to her, because she's like, look, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. What you want, what anybody wants, of course, is a personal taste thing. So if I'm not somebody's cup of tea, I get it. I definitely don't show back up in places that someone's not interested in me being. So I graciously step aside, I retreat, And she retreats into kind of like the shadow, and she intends to stay there. But then I almost think she turns her attention to creative outlets, creative things. Look, it doesn't mean that it doesn't sting, but she's a queen. A queen takes it on the chin. That's just life sometimes. Let's go back to that first card, because I don't see this as her saying something that she thinks is foolish. I see this as somebody wearing a mask that of the court jester, who, I don't know if they said something that was foolish, and that she's the one who retreats. That's all I can see for sure. So for them, it's interesting because we have two different compasses here, and we have this little dude riding on, well, actually, one is a pocket watch, the other is a compass. And within that compass, actually, that's actually a pocket watch too. Do you know I've always looked at this as two different compasses? Those are both pocket watches. I'm still going to keep, because I said it wrong first, and I've always believed that this was a compass, and I took for granted this was also, but it's so crazy because inside of this, there's an eyeball and a man's face, and then a clock that circles it. But this is technically it's kind of hard to see, but I think this is supposed to be a pocket watch as well. I'm thinking that there was something here. I don't know why anybody would have two different watches unless there's two different times that they're thinking about. But what's the staring with the eyeball and the man's face, and then him shrinking himself and putting himself on a second clock? The Wheel of Fortune is about divine timing. I don't know if he said something that was untrue, goofy even, but it was more like, we all say offhanded remarks and they don't land very well. Or if there's something about, like, even the fact that we have nevermore here, it's like, oh, well, that won't ever happen. But really, it's like, not unless divine timing kicks in, or it won't happen anytime soon. I don't know if there was something about, like, the word never is obviously what I'm referring to, but it was it was never about never happening. It was about something to do with the timing and about communication that was like never going to happen or something, but that's not actually what they meant. It might have been more of like a one-off or something. I don't know. The devil is here, though. I have no idea why this person sabotaged. To be honest, this feels like somebody sabotaged, and I don't know. I don't know if they're mad at themselves. It's weird to see a jester and then to see them on two different little watches, and one has the eyeball here, and this is a mask, and now we've got this, statue face in the shadows. There's a lot of unnecessary complications, perhaps I would say, in this. By the way, somebody could be seeing two different clocks, both of which have different times on them. That's actually going on in my house right now. I need to fix it because it's driving me bananas. But I just haven't gotten around to it. Somebody else could see a statue, or somebody who has like bloodshot eyes too. I don't know if this is a person who's staying up all night. I don't know if this is somebody who's actually crying. What are you thinking about with the devil there? By the way, we've got the strong Capricorn energy. I didn't mention this, but we also had Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And we had, again, Scorpio. And then for her, we had her primarily as a Leo, Sag, or Aries. So in regards to the devil, we have a 9 of Wands and we have a King of Pentacles. I don't know what the deal is with so much hidden. Here I am hiding out. Here I am nothing more than a mask. Here I am wearing a mask again with somebody else in the back of my mind all the time. And then once again, I'm hiding behind these leaves. It just feels like there's a whole lot of hiding out kind of energy. And if I was asking, like, what's their kind of state of mind, or what are they, because it feels like they blew it with somebody and she's now completely stepped off into the darkness, and she's under the assumption like, okay, I'm not ever going to hear from this person. They told me kind of in no uncertain terms they have no interest in talking to me, and nor would they at any point in time. So That's all right. I can accept it. But now they're over here with the devil's energy, feeling like, I think that they know that even though a Queen of Wands can take it on the chin, there's no way that that wasn't insulting or painful. Because I do feel like they feel like a jester. Maybe they thought this was a joke, but I don't think that they think that anymore. I think that there's something about, yikes, that's not the way that was supposed to go. I don't know if they feel bad, like, God, that was a jerk move, but it definitely is like they're aware that maybe she withdraws with, some kind of a wound. As a wounded warrior, to be kind to people is kind of an important component, because as we all know, you never know what battlefield somebody else walks on. A Queen of Wands who can come across as super empowered. Sometimes the reason we get empowered is because we have to, because we haven't had anybody else to like help us get there. So we had to build ourselves into somebody a little bit more impervious, and we had to find a way to believe in ourselves because we didn't have anybody else to help us with that. And so if somebody tells us that they're not interested, we may take it at face value and be like, oh, it's not the first time I've been rejected. So although, it's not the end of the world, there is an obvious awareness that she has withdrawn. And this is a wounded warrior card. But then what's so crazy is that he's like, but she stays in the back of my mind all the time. That's still something that I do want withdrawn. I just don't know what was the deal with the Eight of Wands. Somebody could have very lovely hair. Okay, so for some reason, maybe they spoke or said something out of turn. I don't know if they were trying to hurt her feelings or if their feelings were hurt. What's the Three of Swords about? Again, with these red roses. I don't know if somebody's going to see red roses. Six of Pentacles. I don't understand the like joke or the hidden energy about like intentionally hurting somebody's feelings is what it seems like. The Three of Swords. Maybe the joke didn't land because maybe it was more about them, but it didn't come across that way. Like, I don't know. Something went awry here. A Six of Pentacles should be like shared energy. She's the one who is on that Three of Swords card. Page of Swords here. I don't know. This is, maybe they perceived that their feelings got hurt, so then they made some caustic, self-depreciating joke, but instead it came out wrong or something. That Page of Swords is normally like, I'm just now realizing how that was interpreted. I'm just now gathering the information about like, oh my God, that's how that would have been taken. This could be something taken out of context, but I have no idea why. I really have no idea why, other than they didn't see it that way and now they're understanding how that would have been taken. It obviously was taken wrong or something like that. And we could say it's taken wrong by her. But there was still something about two different timelines, two different clocks, and some kind of rejection here that they now feel foolish for doing that because it didn't come across in a way that made sense. That would be, insulting or even like a kind of betrayal to reject somebody. And now they're realizing that's what it came across as. So something that we just said offhanded, I don't know, it just looks like they are, I don't know if they're mad at themselves exactly, but they're definitely heavily thinking about her still in the back of their mind. Ace of Swords, it's kind of like, I need to set this right. I need to say something now because she's clearly cut me out of her life. So I don't know if this is like one of those relationships that didn't quite get off the ground, and now somebody said something that, they clearly lost whatever tenuous bond was starting to form. And it's like, oh, shit. It kind of comes across that way. But this could have also been a relationship that was already, heck, this could be about a friendship. This could be about, people say, not intentionally mean things, but careless things, or make a joke that doesn't land lots of times, right? Let's go back over to her for just a second. We got a lot of people with a lot of thoughts on their head, and maybe, and I say that because we have a lot of characters that have, she's got like all these flowers in her hair, and then again here, and he's got a, tuft of feathers. And I'm just thinking everybody's like maybe way overthinking things, but then we could also have different people wearing like hats throughout the day. Maybe it's cold where somebody is and they're wearing like one of the snow caps, or maybe it's just a hoodie pulled up, or maybe somebody's got a towel wrapped around their hair. She kind of looks like she has a towel wrapped around her hair. Maybe like a turban or something as well. Okay, so for her, we have the moon. She definitely has just sequestered herself. She's kind of withdrawn. She's kind of gone into, I'm not going to say hiding, because she's kind of like just living her life. She thinks about this person, I think, but, and even like a little wistfully, because I think she cared about them or something. She has no clothes on, and even as she lifts up her hand, she extends it. It's almost like she's kind of like caressing a picture of them. This still dominates her mind. So I do think that this queen cared about them, but she's also like, but you know what? It's fine. I heard that they're not interested, especially in someone like me. So that's all right. And I don't know that she ever told them point blank she was interested in them, or she certainly won't tell them that at this point. If that's what that is, she's keeping it to herself. Oh, the Fool and the Page of Cups. It almost feels like they'll never know she was so close to actually like reaching out and maybe offering some kind of, part of her heart, making some kind of overture. And she's like, well, I'm sure glad I didn't do that. I definitely won't trouble them with they'll never know that I was about to, reach out and offer some kind of small, offer of my heart. So she's over here saying, well, at least I didn't do that. That's good. I know that they're not interested in someone like me. I still don't know. Why do you think that they're not interested in you or something like that? I mean, we can see that they made some joke that didn't land, but I just want to know from her perspective. 7 of Cups. She's really maybe just mostly confused by them, confused by their behavior. So maybe she was like, well, I thought we were kind of vibing, but I guess I just got it all wrong. I don't know how to read that person. So I'm just glad that I didn't take action on what I thought. I feel like with this shield here, she feels like at least I was protected from making a fool of myself for somebody who clearly is not interested in me, and I must have read their signals wrong, and that's all right. So that's where she's at. Where we leave this is that we'll say him, although please bear in mind this could be same-sex couple, reverse gender roles, does not matter. But I would say feeling pretty foolish that the wrong words that were spoken, or not enough words that were spoken to clarify something, or a poorly landed joke, made her exit stage left. And that makes sense. He understands all of this, but it's also like the only thing that's going to change is if I actually have conversation with her. She's heavily in the back of his mind, but he also knows she's retreated. And I think he's pretty bummed out about this, even mad at himself or something about this. Because it's like, how am I going to explain this now? She's exited, and she's still very heavy on my mind. He could be a Virgo, a Capricorn, or a Taurus, by the way, with that King of Pentacles. But he's definitely not done ruminating on this and trying to figure out what am I going to do about this. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs